some other points now. You may remember that I mentioned at the last meeting, and probably the meeting before that we approached the village and offered to create what we'll call a potential estero project to improve water, air quality, and reduce greenhouse gases. The project would have included testing in the area. It would have got us to reach some conclusions and then make recommendations to the council for their consideration. Unfortunately, the council has decided not to take us up on our offer. It's sort of, as much as we made it clear that our objective is really to do the research and bring in experts, the council decided that they were going to hold off. So I just want to be aware of that. However, the ongoing discussions in creating a similar project in collaboration with the FGCU Water School, Sanibel Captiva Conservancy Foundation, the Lee Climate Reality Group, and the Calusa Waterkeepers continues. We're just not going to be doing it with the village bringing us in, asking us to do it, and then be willing to receive the recommendations that we come back with. So we're going to take it on as best we possibly can. We're in conversations with all the key players that I just mentioned, Greg Tully of the Water School, James Evans of Sanibel, Bob Moore of Lee Climate Reality, and John Cassani of the Calusa Waterkeepers. They're all very much interested in doing something, making things happen, finding low-hanging fruit so that we can come in and quickly start to do things that are going to help reduce this climate warming that's killing our planet. There's no doubt about it. Anybody who watches TV, if they can't see what's happening, then they're just not, they're not getting it. Their head's in the sand. So we did lose out a bit by the village not taking us up on our offer to come in and do the research, but we're going to move on as best we can on our own with all of these experts and scientists to move forward. Finally, on this issue, I encourage residents who are interested in participating in our environmental efforts, contact me. Spread it around. I want to get a number of people who are committed, engaged in this to help us as the ECCL move forward with the experts and scientists to start to make impacts that may not affect you and I, but will affect our kids and our grandkids and future generations living here in Florida. There are about 170 organizations or municipalities throughout the country that are doing this, making it happen. We just see, by sitting back and not doing anything in estero, we're not doing the best things for future generations, and we have an obligation to do that. So if you're interested, contact me directly. Finally, you may recall we've had a number of conversations about the Greater Estero Virtual Information Center, the website. Are you familiar with that? Some of you have heard it, GVIC. We use that term a lot. GVIC is basically a website that helps people figure out what's going on in estero. Anything you wanted to find out about estero, whether it be healthcare, real estate, education, whatever it may be, events going on, anything that's going on in estero, you would go to this one website, GVIC. It won't be called GVIC, that's just the term we're using now. But whatever it's called, eventually, it will be there, so people just hit a click, you bang, up comes anything you want to know about estero, and so on. This program has been in place for about 2 years. It was the child of the ECCL. We brought in people that were local influencers. It was run basically by Barry Friedman, who was part of the ECCL and resigned to just take this on. We have gotten commitments from local businesses to the tune of $120,000 they're ready to spend. We were going to the village for another $125,000, and they just did not want to do it. But we're not stopping yet. There are other opportunities to make this happen. What it is really is, you've heard of the term economic development. This is economic progress. This is basically a tool for all the businesses, everyone in the greater Estero area, to have a place to find what's going on in Estero. I'll give you an example. We had this event here, right in this area here, the band shell back there, where we had the 7-year or 8-year anniversary of the village of Estero. We had the Estero Fest, etc. The amount of people that showed up were minuscule. Well, hundreds. There's over 30,000 people living in Estero. The message is not getting out to people. This kind of a website can help them do that. It's being put together by people who, in fact, have put 900 of these websites throughout the world. It's going to be managed by, once it gets moving, by the Hoffman Creative Agency down in Naples. And these folks are going to be basically pushing this out and marketing and communicating to people the value of this particular website. So I wanted you to understand what it was about. Unfortunately, when we went to the village for some seed money, it was not approved by the council. The vote was 4-3 no. These are things that are happening, but it isn't stopping us, because our objective is to make sure we do whatever we can to improve the quality of life in Estero. Okay? So, are there any questions on anything I've talked about so far? Yes, ma'am.
What is your website for what you're talking about?
It doesn't have a name yet, but the project is called GVIC, Greater Estero Virtual Information Center. It's just basically a place where you can go, whether you live here, or you're thinking of coming here, or you're thinking of investing here in a business and so on. It tells you all you want to know about Estero. It really puts Estero on the map when this is moving. Yes, sir.
Yes, sorry. And I should tell you that my background is tech, so it doesn't come off as condescending.
No, go ahead.
The question. It seems that for what you want, you could achieve it. I know for a fact I achieved it for, Fortune top 20. Let's just put it that way. Companies for a fraction of that, and today's reality, the price tag I can tell you 100% is inflated. You can achieve that a fraction of the cost.
There's a lot of subtleties and nuances I can't explain today. This has been going on for 2 years. We've talked to people all over the country, other municipalities that have put this together.
I led the production of for example, the Regent Cruise Lines website, so that you could book online, and this is going back not quite 20 years back, and I was able to do it with a group of basically interns within a month, and that's to give you an idea of stuff like this. I mean, I've worked with Apple, Google. Again, I'm not trying to.
I got you, but it's not simply putting up a Med's website. It's managing that website. It's selling that website to people who want to get on. It's not as simple as perhaps you're making it.
That website you were able to book cruises on, and we're talking about close to 20 years back. So at that time, the technology, it was not, there were a lot more incompatibilities, and it was harder back then than it was, than it is today.
Your point is we're spending too much money?
My point is that you can achieve that today for a lot less if you have the right people.
Okay.
I'm trying to say that if you're knowledgeable in that field, I just happen to be, just coincidental, I know, just happen to be here right here today. But what I'm trying to say is kind of like, if someone wants to sell you a car for $500,000, and I'm like, hey, you could purchase that car for 30 or 50,000, whatever. That's all.
Okay.
I could talk to you later.
Yeah. Okay. We can talk. Did you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say I'll meet with them afterwards.
Okay. All right.
Joe?
Yeah.
Back to the historical growth of ECCL, what you're trying to do is what the Chamber of Commerce has historically been trying to do. So what's the coordination between the two units?
The Chamber and Board has approved moving in this direction. They are part of the dialogue.
I mean, they've been doing this historically.
This isn't gonna replace the chamber.
I understand that, I'm just asking about overlapping, and is it, you know, people trying to do the same thing from two different directions?
No, the chamber has been involved in this civic movement for 2 years. The board of directors unanimously approved moving forward with it. Okay? Anybody else? Okay. What I'd like to do now is introduce Mike Watson, who's the co-chair of our Education Council. And Mike's going to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in education. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Jim. Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, kids are our future. And their future is their education. You know, I'm talking about education that children get from their parents, from schools, and from support by the community. The community, it includes ECCL. In May, 305 graduates, seniors, graduated from Estero High School. And some of those graduates already were working. They had jobs in the community. They were contributing to the community part-time. Some are just now finding jobs for the first time in the community. Some have decided to go on